Thanks for tuning in to today's episode of the Brandon Clay Show. I want to start on the boys' side of the basketball today. One of my favorite prospects inside of the Peach State, Amari Morgan, out of Lanier High School. Actually going to go and watch him today work out. Brandon Mayweather, who coaches Lanier, fantastic. One of the best coaches in the state, without question, in my opinion. Known him for a long, long time. Actually going to have a documentary by our digital media creator, Tony Lugardo, here in the next 10 days or so that talks about my relationship with Brandon and kind of how he's gotten to where he's gotten at Lanier. State finalist, multiple appearances, state tournament dating back to his days at Central Gwinnett, potential pro in Sion James that's playing at Duke to finish up his college career right now. And Morgan is the next one in the line. Older brother, Boogie, just finished up, graduated last year. Love everything about Amari's game, the length, legitimate 6'6", almost 6'7". Haven't seen him on the floor actually since the beginning of the summertime. So it was June area for summer practice since the last time that I've seen him. So be intrigued to check in on him today. Presbyterian has stopped by. North Georgia stopped by. Guy who's definitely going to play up the next level now for the next couple of years, just figuring out what space and what level that's going to be at. Big time athlete. I watched a couple of games last year in person. And coming down that lane, you don't want any part of that. It's one of those, you're going to make a business decision. If you see Morgan coming and start to elevate, you're probably like, hit him with the LeBron meme. Really like what he brings to the table. Excited to get out there today. We'll report back next week more on what I saw from there. Class of 2026 wing, Bella Ragone, Mill Creek. A name that's been floating for our viewers for a couple of years, right? She's been in the national spotlight. Has played really good basketball. I really like what she brings to the table. She just visited Iowa, visited Clemson, has visited Georgia, visited Florida State. Number of offers. A lot of those have been met with visits. I expect to see that continue to grow in the fall and in the winter as well. And she's someone that I think we start talking about trajectories and paths, that there definitely is a pathway for her to continue to grow. Continue to develop her game and continue to be acknowledged. I think she's one of the five best at her position in the class. We'll get a chance to get out and see her next week or even the first part of the following week. Practice there at Mill Creek. Jeremy Huckabee, I've known him not as long as I've known Coach Mayweather, but I've known him for a long time. He's coached on the boys' side, actually at Lanier High School, ironically, and I helped him there. And now he's at Mill Creek on the girls' side doing a great job. So I'll be in to check on Ragone soon, too. Speaking of the Iowa offer and visit for Ragone, Iowa's 25 class is shaping up to be one of the more complete classes in the country. It's a lot like Georgia's. They have the higher end kid in Addie Deal that maybe Georgia doesn't possess, but Georgia has the same type of depth and talent that I'm seeing Iowa put together. Jan Jensen, it'll be her first class as head coach, as the big boss, and she's done a really good job getting out, getting ahead. And one thing that you hear from the staff there in totality, Raina Harmon and Jan both in unison, is that you don't want to lose your identity and who you are and what's gotten you here by trying to now go and over-recruit. So, they're Addie Deals of the world, you go get them. They landed big in Layla Hayes that maybe wasn't accessible to them right there in pocket, but they're still going to recruit the state. They're still going to recruit the region, which plays itself out in Journey Houston. All three of those are top 100 caliber kids. And then you've got some other kids that are still in the 25 making decisions, a couple that were just on visits. But the big dog here to me was McKenna Velitsko, who came on a visit about 10 days ago for Iowa. Ironically, the same weekend as Addie Deal, wanted to pair them up. Velitsko from California as well as Deal. And McKenna's a kid that I've got in the top 10 in the 24/7 Sports big board, and for good reason. She does a little bit of everything. I had a chance to watch her in depth last year at the Nike TOC out in Phoenix with Archbishop Mitty. And every day I thought she got a little bit better. It's a 4-day tournament if you win it all. And with each game that passed, she just continues to grow. She always plays hard. She's always super active, rebounds it well, is showing touch on her 15-footer. But she's a kid that kind of came late to the sport relative to maybe some of her peers who played from an early age. She didn't start to play at this level until she got into middle school. So you're seeing now some of the fruits of that development start to pan out, and obviously would be a huge get, just as big a get for Iowa as if they landed Addie Deal. Tomorrow, I'll be making the trip out to the Denver area. Looking forward to it. I know I mentioned that on the show on Wednesday. Get the chance to get to Boulder too for the Colorado football game. Julian Lewis is going to be on hand, the quarterback recruit. It's Colorado and some other schools that are vying for his services. So excited to be out in that atmosphere, see what that's about. But before we get those proceeding, we're going to start with the important stuff, which is Chris Hansen's Elitist Earned Camp. Get to work with Kate Sharp and Tegan Snodgrass. I have not been on the floor with Sharp before. Haven't had that opportunity, but did an evaluation on her game from what I saw back during the 23-24 high school season, and really, really liked, I think, her skill set, more of an off-the-ball guard with some point guard qualities to turn the handle it, but she can attack it, she'll score it. So I'm excited to see her live and in real time. And then same thing for Snodgrass in terms of the ability to score the basketball. She's a kid that honestly could end up being more of a point guard long-term, still, just a younger prospect in that way, but so much upside. She actually was on the floor with me in Kansas City. We trained together multiple times, but the most recent was back in the spring in Kansas City. And to just see where her game could go. She's super attentive. She's locked in. She reminds me a lot of there's a kid named Ella David out of the Athens area in Georgia in 2029. And her and Tegan share a lot of the same similarities in terms of just kind of who they are as ball players. They're just always looking to get better, super talented, good length already, a lot of skill. So excited to see where this goes this weekend. I know Chris always has the gym full. Callie Henders coming in from Arizona. It's going to be a really good group. Back to Indiana. We talked about this last night a little bit, but I want to touch on Riley Shellhammer, 2028 out of Fishers High School. We've been on the floor together a couple of times. She just picked up an offer from WKU, Western Kentucky, after visiting with her family. She's a kid that I think is going to gain traction, one of the better ones in the state, if not the region for sure, in that 28 class. We'll play at Fishers High School this year. And up there, they get started here in about 10 days. Everybody plays their first game. So we'll get to find out really quickly kind of where the floor is for Shellhammer as a high school player. And then you obviously expect her to grow on that floor year in and year out for the duration of her career. Excited to see her. Probably would be to get by a practice at least for a minute. Plan to do the same thing with Kinsey Cook and a couple others that are right there in that Metro Indianapolis area up on the north side on that Friday before we have our middle school workout on that Saturday morning. We'll tap back in on the first of the week. We'll recap Colorado. We'll recap Amari Morgan. I'm looking forward to it, and we'll cover all the news that we always do from over the weekend. Until next time, Jimmy